probably some other guys from the league that nobody cares about.
And welcome to another exciting season of Rochester Floor Hockey. This is the Circle of Jerks podcast. We are back. We are going to be teaching you how to become the ever-loving jerk you strive to be. I am Pete R. I'll be your host for this evening, of course, along with Jer Bonnet.
Hello.
Cannonball Kurt. Matt Ferngully. Galili.
Hello.
And welcoming back a long-time listener, I think at least 14 years. Second-time guest, is that correct? Second-time guest?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Alex Del Packard. Welcome, guys. How's everyone doing tonight? You guys feeling good after a great first night of preseason hockey?
No.
I did not get hit in the head, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, there was some fun action last night. A couple bruises and injuries, but a good time. But tonight we're going to do a brief recap of all the preseason games. Our main focus is just ultimately going to be to get a look at each team, how we think they'll play out for the season. So let's not waste another minute. Jared Bear, let's talk about game one.
Game one. We had the Evil Dead in white versus the Psychosomatic Offspring in Carolina blue. And that name, I think, is going to go down in the most annoying fucking name in the history of this league so far because it's fucking 12 syllables. But on the Evil Dead side, we had Paul Paradine, 6 goals, no assists, and a game star. Steve Newberry, nothing but a penalty minute. Matt G, 1 goal, 0 assists. Kevin Parker flip-flopped that, 0 goals, 1 assist. And Amanda, leading the league briefly for rookies with 1 goal, 0 assists. Brett Siebert in net, 53 saves and an 84% save percentage. On the psych off side, Zach D, 4 goals, 1 assist.
That's the D.
Tim Anderson, 3 goals, 0 assists, and a game star. Andy G, 2 goals, 1 assist. Rob Maston, 1 and 1. Chris Lally, 0 goals, 1 assist. John Ramjam, 54 saves. High on the night, 87% save percentage, and the 3rd game star of the game.
High of the night for Ramsey. Now, I didn't get a chance to see this game. I was walking in, and Ramsey was actually walking out, and I said, "How'd you guys do?" And he's like, 110-8. And I was shocked at first. You know, I picked Zach's team, of course, to be number 8, and of course they have a great preseason game, and I'm sure they'll go on to win 10 games in a row and win the championship because I picked them 8. But all I heard from last night, everyone that was watching the game, was how amazing their passing was. I mean, Jared, obviously you were there watching the game. What did you think of the team?
So, I mean, they looked really good offensively. I mean, playing against the Evil Dead team, the Evil Dead, unfortunately, offensively seemed kind of one-dimensional to me in that game. And then obviously when you have a Paul team, it tends to lean towards that. So, I mean, to give up 8 goals in that sense, even with a good night especially with a good night from Ramsey with that high of a save percentage, to still give up 8. I mean, defensively, they still have some things to figure out, but offensively, I mean, this game could have easily been a 15-8, 17-8 game because, you know, there's 4 or 5 one-timers that I'm seeing that either went wide or they whiffed on that, you know, a couple more games and the timing is there and those are buried.
So, Ferngully, with that being said, I mean, obviously you guys took a quote-unquote loss last night. I mean, we really can't talk about the losses in the preseason, but and what did you think about your team last night? What does it look like that you'll be for the season? Are there a lot of changes that you need to make?
I would say yes. Yes and no. You know, we talked about it before the game, how we wanted to play, which was we wanted to just kind of fill out the court and see how each of us played together. So we didn't have too much. We didn't have too much game strategy going into it, but afterwards we definitely saw where we needed to focus on. I would agree with Jeremy. The missed one-timers that Psych Off had, it easily could have been a 14-7 or 8 game. I mean, they probably had 5 or 6 that they missed. But as he said, you know, you wait 2 or 3 games, they're connecting on those, and you know they're going to be a good team.
Mm-hmm. So, Kurt, did you watch the game?
I did not watch the game.
No.
I have nothing but the stat sheet to go on, but it gave me a lot of questions. Like, first of all, did Paul realize that you guys are on his team, or
Early.
I'm just saying. I mean, I know, but I knew that Paul would have a lot of goals. I didn't realize he would have all the goals.
Paul's gonna have 60 assists next week.
You know, he is the assist leader in some alternate dimension. But I just was looking at it. It just was very. and very surprised. But I'm glad Amanda got one in there, and I'm glad it got counted.
well,
Make sure of that.
well, Alex, did you watch the game?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you think of? Let's talk about Evil Dead a little bit. Or actually, no. Let's talk about Psycho. Because we talked a little bit about Evil Dead. What did you think about the team? Was it a big passing night for them? Was there any other highlights that you liked?
Yeah, I mean, if you're on Zach's team, you're gonna have to get used to taking passes that you don't even know are coming. Because he does this weird thing where he doesn't look half the time he's doing something. He'll look in one direction to psych out whoever's defending against him and completely do something else in the other direction. So
Take the same approach for defense.
there were a lot of passes coming from Zach, and I know the criticism with Zach is he passes more than he should be, but I don't think that's necessarily always a bad thing. But between him and Andy, what I saw was really good chemistry, and I'm really excited to see those two play with each other because the passes were tape to tape almost every time.
I speak so highly of Andy. I mean, he's been in my team 3 out of the 4 years. It's the first time I'm not playing with him. The guy knows how to finish. The guy knows that if he's getting a good pass, he'll put it into the net. So it sounds like they had a really strong game. As far as the Evil Dead side, what are we missing? What is the next step for Evil Dead?
I think we need to work on our chemistry and kind of figuring out where we want to position each of our players. I definitely think it's gonna help us moving forward. Like we said, last night was kind of just one of those where we wanted to go out and just kind of see how we played together and where we needed to focus on. So. And
each team had the full team, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big thing to look at.
Cool.
When we're looking at this game, and we'll get into it a little bit more, but there was a few teams that barely had anyone come out to play. So this is dedication. These two teams are obviously really strong. Anything else to talk about this before we jump into the next game?
I mean, I'm just going to talk about Evil Dead. Even at draft night, looking at Paul's draft, it seemed like he's kind of accepting most of the offense is going to come from me, and he drafted a really defensive-heavy team to sit behind him to kind of give him the opportunity to do that. And again, I feel like it in the long run, it'll pay off more for them. You need more than 2 goals from the rest of your team. So.
Steve cannot go 0-0 on a night. Matt and Steve obviously need to be a part of the scoring, and if they're not, it's going to be a long season. But.
Were the other guys taking shots on your team? Because I'm looking here, and I mean, Brett took 53 shots, and Ramsey took 54. Only, Zach's team was distributing those shots somewhat. Were you guys all taking shots, just didn't go in, or?
Yeah, I mean, I would think, in just based on being on the floor, that where we wanted to go was kind of see what would happen if Paul was shooting and where the pucks were bouncing, because it's a little different in the gym now with the mats.
Yeah,
and
it made a huge difference, actually.
Spotting the puck for some of
the mats.
Spotting the puck for some of the goalies.
Somebody needs to tell those Mats it's only preseason.
Yeah. don't play 110%. Play preseason.
150%.
Lay off the bounce a little bit. Tone it down.
Well, I mean, time will tell on all the teams this season, but it seemed to be a very close first game. Exciting to see. That's what we actually want. We want to see people showing up. Getting the time on the floor is obviously key with these new mats. This is going to be a completely new season on the YMCA floor. So that's game 1. Let's go on to game 2.
Game 2. We have the Blackula, Team Blackula, with 10, falling to the Zombies with 11. On the black side, that's Blackula, even though they were white. We had Gaffey with 1 goal, 3 assists. Gianni Jones, 3 goals, 2 assists, and a game star. Bill Smith, 4 goals, an assist, and a second game star. Brad Burr, 2 goals, 1 assist. And Brett subbing in with 50 saves and an 82% save percentage. On the Zombie side, Mike Bryant, 7 goals, no assists, and a third game star. Ferlano, 3 goals and nothing as far as assists. Cheddar Pete Skidmore, 1 goal, 0 assists. And then the other 2 did not play.
And who are those other 2?
We have Chris Masakowski. Rare. Not going to change this time.
Wow.
I was unprepared for that. He didn't play, so he didn't deserve it.
Heritage style there. He was the real name.
And?
And Craig I'm out if it doesn't count Pruner.
On his part, I did hear that he was making dinner for his wife who just got off of surgery, so we couldn't really fault him too much.
I mean, did she have surgery during his rookie game too?
I don't know actually. I didn't ask him.
So Alex was playing that for
Was
them.
it preseason surgery?
51 saves, 84% save percentage. Craig, I'm sure you're great.
He'll score like.
Everybody's got to get it once in a while.
Yeah, someone's got to get it.
Unless you're Cowboys.
All right, so that's the game. This game was actually really exciting. It came down to the last second, right?
Last 30 seconds. Yeah. Well, last 30 seconds in the last 3 or 2.
Brian scored with 3 seconds left.
That's insane. So obviously another tight game. We had one player missing on Blackula as well. Who was missing on Blackula? Strack.
Fuck if I know.
Oh man, how did I miss those? So obviously Strachan was missing from Stracula. I guess we can't even call it Stracula because he wasn't there. So
is he John Blacken now?
Yes,
he'll be Strack next week, though, right?
Yeah, he'll be Strack next week. We'll see how they play. It looked to be. I was actually impressed that Gianni was moving around the puck a lot last night, moving it to Bill, moving it to Gaffey, and there was at one point it was a pretty big deficit for Blackula. If I remember correctly, it was 8-4 at one point, and then I turned around, it was 9-8, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact score, but I know that we had them up a little bit, and then I think we kind of just let go, and then they came back heavy. I'm not sure the exact score. I wasn't trying to pay attention because they were starting to get to me, but no, yeah, I know they definitely came back. They pushed hard. They knew what they had to do, and then they just started eating away at us.
So what do you think was the reason that you guys were able to get so far ahead?
Brian Marvin.
I think the addition of Brian Marvin to our team was just what we really needed. We were missing Chris Maskowski and Craig, and so we had to work on the chemistry with the 3 guys that are actually on our team, which I think I'm really excited to see Brian and Furlano on the same team as me, because those two, I mean, they're very much run and gun, do it yourself type guys, but even though there weren't any assists, I did see them moving the puck a lot between the 2 of them. And even Pete was in position where he needed to be every single time.
And he didn't shoot himself.
He didn't shoot himself, not this time.
I didn't call the shots fired were from Gianni and Mark. That's all the good shots I saw anyway.
I don't know if you guys saw it last night, but Gianni had the puck from the point, clearly ready to take a shot, and it somehow didn't even go towards the net. It just went right at Brad, hit him directly in the thigh, but it bounced towards the net. It was, oh my gosh, John was dying on the bench. He could not control his laughter.
What has more of a bounce, the new match or Brad Stop?
Oh, Brad's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Pretty proud of him.
Congratulations, Brad.
Yeah.
It didn't have the bounce Gianni was hoping for. That way.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Gianni's team, Blackula. So they had Gaffey, Gianni, Bill, really spread out on the offensive side, 1-3, 3-2, and then 4-1. Bill Smith was a huge pickup in the third round. Might be one of the steals of the draft. Having another great year, having a team that can pass a lot. Kurt, what do you think about those 3 in the lineup, and adding Strachan in as a 4th? With Brad Burton.
I was repping this game, so I was right down on the floor. I got to see it up close. I think Bill's, you're right, steal in the third. I was a little surprised at Gaffey, actually. I didn't see the same Gaffey I'm used to seeing. He seemed like he was maybe half a beat behind everything, and I understand Tonka was telling me, I guess he was really tired. He worked a lot and stuff
before he came.
Something happened, but it just wasn't the same Gaffey. I think when Gaffey is up to in fighting strength, it's going to be scary. I mean, Strachan wasn't even there.
Yeah,
that's what's scary. But I gotta give props to Brad. I was impressed watching him. He was in position. Gianni, and to Gianni's credit, Gianni's like, you know what? I'm going to use this guy. I'm going to use my 5th round draft pick, and I'm going to make it work. And it worked for 2 goals, and I was really impressed with that.
Anytime you get a late rounder to score 2 goals and 1 assist on your team, it is huge. It is huge.
Well, and he really there was none of the chippiness or anything. He just was fully in team playing mode, and it was just really nice to see. And I think this team's going to do some dangerous stuff.
Yeah, and one of the things that I'm starting to see pretty consistently is the top scorer. I mean, besides Paul, the top scorer is not blowing up on the lamp. Now, granted, it's preseason. We got to see where it goes, but there are spreading it out. So maybe we'll see the top 1, 2, 3 teams of Mike Bryant, Austin, as well as Dan Hook. They might have a guy that's like 7, 8 goals, but it looks like the teams 4 through 8 are really kind of separating it around. I mean, talk about that, Jeremy.
So I didn't see this game.
Oh, good.
So I had prior engagements that I had to leave and then come back from. But looking at the stat sheet and just looking at the draft of the team, I mean, I feel like with the Zombies, it's hard to really go by it because of them being down those 2 guys. I feel like with those 2 guys there, they add a level of hustle to the play that you're not going to get out of the Brian Marvin's mullet. Chris Masikowski, he's all hustle, not a whole lot of finish, but he's there when you need him to be. Like he's there to put one away for you if you need him to. Craig Pruner, unfortunately, we didn't really see a lot out of him in the rookie game, but they say he's a hell of an athlete, and I got to take him from the words that are coming out of or into their mouth. I feel like this team is going to be very dangerous down the line. I feel like that they're going to out hustle a lot of teams, and we didn't get to see that unfortunately due to players missing. On the flip side for Blackula, I mean, you have the addition of John Strachan. Obviously, he wasn't there, but the problem I'm looking at is Strachan and Gaffey's play style offensively is very similar, and Gaffey finished with 1 goal. So, I mean, you're going to have 2 guys kind of trying to play the same position. If they're out on the same line, it's going to have to be some transition. You can't have both of them, trying to chip in off the front of the net. And again, even, for that style of play for Gaffey, again, I didn't see it, so I don't know if that's what he was predominantly trying to do. But it didn't really turn into a big night for him for that play style. So it's hard to say that, that's going to work with 2 kind of that same grinder style player.
Good point. I mean, it seems like, once again, this is preseason. We'll get a feel for it. Maybe people don't really know what the mats are like. There's some new rules that we're really putting into place. Matt, do you want to talk a little bit about one of the rules that we're really trying to enforce, especially with the Gianni game?
Yeah. So I'll go through just real quick. Those that didn't get one yesterday, we'll have them again on Wednesday, but we have a packet so everybody can kind of look at them and understand some of the rules that are going to be enforced by the referees this season. The biggest one that we are going to be calling this year that maybe has been a little lax in prior seasons is the pass back to a goalie. So in the past, we kind of haven't called it. It's kind of there more so for plays that are getting down to the end of the game and you're trying to delay the game or kind of offset it. So officially the rule will read, a loss of possession may be imposed on a team if it is determined they are deliberately passing the puck back to their goalkeeper to create a goalie freeze. This is done either to avoid an attacking defender and or to waste time with a game clock. So we'll make an immediate stoppage when we realize that, and the puck will be awarded to the other team. So there's no minute penalty, it's just a possession change.
Yeah, so it's just something to be aware of this year. There's going to be a couple stoppages that you'll see. We saw it happen in a couple games last night, so just be aware of it, be ready. If you have any questions at any time, make sure you're talking to the referees. But overall, it was a good game, really tight battle, 11-10. Any other thoughts before we move on to the next game, guys?
No Conco in that game, right?
No Conco in that game. He's Brett sub.
He was coaching from the sideline.
I mean,
he did a good job, didn't he? Oh no, they lost.
Alex, I love the way you play at the end. This will be kind of like the last thing. I really love the way you play, especially when it got to when it was 8-4 and then it was a big comeback. I saw the frustration in your face, and you just turned around, you took a deep breath, and you got down and
Actually, I think one of Gianni's shots hit him in the helmet and just it was like a hard reset for him.
Gianni hit me in my right ear and it popped, and I definitely for about a minute thought that I lost the hearing in my right ear, and I was gonna have to explain to everybody that YMCA hockey took away my hearing.
Yeah. Well, Bill Smith got the same thing. He was dazed.
He took a Dan Glad.
He said if there could have been like the little cartoon bird flitting above his head, that would have been him. So.
Wait, was that a turkey?
Turkey, birds, aren't they the same thing?
Don't you know that? Around the head, yeah. Yeah, oh, you do it way better.
Oh, man.
Right up on the mic, man.
All right, so let's jump to the third game. Jer-Bear,
What
who's
the
third
fuck
game?
with this game? Like, this game, I
Oh,
don't even know
yeah.
what to say about this game.
You guys were supposed to
So
skip
like Kyle
over this
tell
game?
us.
No, this wasn't Kyle's game. The third game
Oh,
was...
no, you're right.
The game everyone forgot about.
Third
because no
game.
one showed
Didn't he
up.
play in it though?
Yeah, he did play it.
Oh, yeah, there
So
you
the third game, we had some of the Gremlins
Not even.
versus...
They were Mogwai at that point. They weren't even Gremlins yet.
versus some of the Foot Clan. So, I mean, there was a lot of people missing, but we had...
The Mogwai versus the Toe Clan. Let's just get it over.
So, we had the Gremlins, I guess, with 13, falling to the Foot Clan, supposedly, with 16. On the Gremlin side, the only two players there were, Tim Scott was there. So they had 3 total players. Mike Sturgis, 3 goals, 2 assists. Jake Shelton, 1 goal, 1 assist. They had subs with Kyle Antilla, 5 goals, 1 assist, and a penalty minute. And Steve Newberry, 4 goals, 1 assist. Tim Scott finished with 49 saves and a 75% save percentage. On the Foot Clan side, you had Dan Hook, who is on the team, with 6 goals, 3 assists, and a game star. Chris Enright also on the team, 5 goals, 2 assists, and a game star. And rookie Ben Catoli, also on the team, 5 goals, 4 assists, and the last game star. You had Gaffey, who subbed, but you wouldn't know because he didn't do anything. And Bill Rylick.
He didn't really play. They would let him out.
Bill Rylick, 40 saves, 75% save percentage, and 3 sheets to the wind.
Wait, 75%?
Yeah. And that's his
I
save
think
percentage.
that was his
That is
blood alcohol count.
content.
I think he was 80 proof, 75%, man.
This game was such a bummer. I was ready to watch it. I thought it would be a great game, but no one showed up. It's a bummer. So let's talk about the potential of each of these teams. I'm glad I got to see Dan, Chris, and Ben together.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This was really Dan and Chris alone were one of the reasons that I picked them to win the championship this year. But you're talking 9 points, 7 points, 9 points on 3 guys alone. That's scary. Or someone's just being very friendly on the stat sheet.
No, I mean if you watch their play, like almost every single goal was assisted. Like the fact that they had 25 points on 16 goals is ridiculous.
Unreal. And you're playing against Tim, who I mean
That's what impressed me a lot.
That's the scary part. You need to pass around Tim. I mean, let's talk about a team that's high passing. Let's talk to the goalie, Alex. When a team is really just humming with their passing, what does it do to your night?
Well, to me personally, it's frustrating because if the team's landing their passes, it means the defense needs to tighten up, and if the defense isn't tightening up, it makes the goalie's job that much harder to stop the puck. So, but it's just frustrating to see the other team connecting so well in front of you, especially, and you think you have somebody down and you have good sight on their puck, and then all of a sudden you got a guy to your right who's wide open and they bury it on you. So it gets frustrating after a while.
Yeah, nasty night. I mean, awful night for both goaltenders. Granted, the teams weren't even there.
Well, it is preseason. I don't know if you guys heard. But.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, this was preseason?
Yeah.
This is apparently bring your cushions and lay down preseason.
Well, I was really impressed with the 3. Kurt, you also picked Foot Clan to win the championship. What did you think of the 3 boys and Bill and Matt?
I think the fact that we saw Foot Clan Light do so well. I mean, I was, Ben was Ben was awesome.
Wow.
With the rebel yell and everything, and
He was pissing a lot of people off. It was great.
but he's sinking the pucks too. So like I said, I was really surprised at Tim Scott. I think that whole passing game is tough on him because once he sets himself on the one side of the net, they can.
Yeah, positioning is his game.
But like I said, you're right. Without seeing the full Gremlins there, I mean, Gremlins are a scary team, and not having Joe and Jesse, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like playing cards without a full deck. So.
And speaking of Gremlins, Matt, you actually picked the Gremlins to win the championship. So what does a Joe, Jesse, Mike combination mean to this team?
Steve Kazmark also.
Steve Kazmark was missing too, yeah.
So I looked at it, I look at Foot Clan and Gremlins as a very similar structured team. With Joe, Mike, and Jesse, I think if those three individuals were there, if it was a true 3-on-3 with goalies, that would have been an awesome game to watch because everybody would have been passing. Everybody would have been able to, pick corners and shoot where they needed to. I did pick the Gremlins, and I'm going to stick by my pick. The one thing I'll say with Foot Clan and teams that only, those three individuals were out there, they were hustling. They weren't winded at all. They didn't seem to lose stamina all the way through the end of the third period. I just hope that it'll be a fairness thing when the other two individuals do participate on their team, that they understand that, it's a team game and, you got to learn to win with, a total of 6 players on your squad as opposed to 3.
Good
Yeah.
point.
It does suck sitting on the bench. Yeah, I think actually Gaffey was more winded sitting on the bench than they were. Well, no, he had just played the game before, but
Oh boy. Yeah, well, it's the game. It's preseason, so I guess we'll see how it plans out next week. But I for one am looking forward to another matchup with these guys and to see exactly what Foot Clan does next week. So let's jump into the final game of the night, Game 4. Jim.
Actually, fuck this game. So, Game 4. Preseason. Oh, yeah, it's preseason, sorry.
So non-fuck this game.
Non-fuck this game, fuck it, and then non-fuck it, and then fuck it
too
again.
young to fuck.
I don't know. So we had the Sharknadoes finishing with 16, beating Bigfoot mercilessly with 13. I guess 3 goals isn't very merciless, but on the Sharknado side, you had Pete Lundstedt, 3 goals, 2 assists, and a game star. Sweet Meat Jeff Sweeting, 7 goals, 0 assists, and the second game star. Kevin Baldwin, 3 goals and 1 assist. John Chatterton, 2 goals and 0 assists. Kurt Brownell, 1 goal, 0 assists. Steve Schultz, 38 saves, 75% save percentage. On the Bigfoot side, you had Austin with 8 goals and an assist, the last game star. Jeff Burge, 1-1. Jamie, 2-0. That's me, 0 goals and 1 assist. And Kyle, 2 goals, 1 assist. Kenton, 40 saves and a 71% save percentage.
All right, so who was around to watch this game?
I watched it.
You watched it?
Okay.
Kurt. Oh, okay, you're underneath. So the best part about it is, so I write up the whole report and saying everything about everyone, talking about each individual player. The one player I forget is the freaking guy on my team. I sent him a little love note telling him exactly. I was literally thinking about what to write for him, and then I just never wrote it. So
girl said to me all through high school.
But ultimately, every player, once 2 teams, full teams showed up. That's exciting. We got to see people play. First period seemed like Sharknadoes just jumped out really hard. Everyone was playing at full force, 8-1. So hard. Man, there was a storm in brewing. So.
You guys were going like 150%.
Yeah. I didn't know it was preseason, so I was going. So 8-1 after the first, and then great comeback by Bigfoot to finish at 16-13. Goalies 75-71. Steve had a rough first season. I was impressed with his play last night. I thought he stepped up. I thought he was playing his angles well. He got smoked by Austin, but I mean that's what you kind of expect coming from Austin. But you've played against Austin now. What is it like to play against Austin, who has those types of hands?
It's confusing because he's easily the best stick handler in the league, in my opinion. You try to watch the puck, but he moves the puck too fast for you to watch the puck. So you try to watch his body to see where he's going to go, but his stick goes a complete opposite direction from where he's going. So you kind of just, the way I approach it is, you kind of just have to attack his stick and hope for the best, and hope he just doesn't dance around you. He's too good to really pick one thing about him to stop.
Yeah. I mean, he had 5 goals in the third period, 3 in the second. So he had nothing in the first. He had 8 goals and 1 assist. Jabber, what do you think of your team's play last night and how you look for the season?
I mean, the good thing that we can go by is we totally got trounced in the first period, but came back and won collectively the second and third periods. And I feel like as a team, you want to. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the shots we had for second and third period. That wasn't that good.
No. So I mean, the thing that you want to have, especially as a team going into the preseason, is like you're looking at progression. And we get progressively better from the first period onwards. I mean, it wasn't enough to come back and win the game, but at least it's a step in the right direction for us. I feel like we talk about it, coming into next week's game, we actually have a plan for defense instead of like, fuck it, we'll figure it out. I don't know if that's a good plan to have, especially with defensemen like me, and mostly me, because that's not really going to work. I mean, even if I have a plan, I do like to see some more scoring from the rest of the team. Yeah. Obviously, we can't really rely on. I mean, we can, but we shouldn't really rely on Austin all the time. But yeah, I mean,
Kurt, what do you think of our team?
Yeah, I'm still looking at. Kyle held you scoreless.
That's true.
You know what? These two, what was neat about this game was we were on 2 different trajectories. Like our parabolas went in different directions. So it was 8, 5, and 3 we scored, and they scored 1, 5, and 7. So we were in completely different directions, and it just so happened we were able to come out on top with a few more goals. But yeah, we got to figure out our closing moves for sure. Yeah, I think we got a little confused, a little scattered at the end, and I think that could bite us. I mean, this was preseason, and seeing how some of these other teams are playing, that's not going to slide. I think you said that too, Peter. It's not going to cut it.
No.
Yeah. I feel like that game left both teams with a lot of questions that need to be answered in order for them to compete. I mean,
positive and negative for every team tonight. I was happy with our play. I'm glad we got the scoring. We turned around, turned across everyone. We took a risk on Jeff in the second round. Glad he stepped out, but I mean, first week he's going to have to play against one of the top tier goalies of the league. So we'll see how his play progresses throughout.
And nobody said they were going to hold him scoreless.
No one said he was going to.
Yet.
Kyle might jump on the floor and just but Matt, what do you think of the game?
So when your games get down to middle of third period and your team's looking to make a comeback or something, you got to have discipline. And Jeremy didn't have any of that.
Whoa. Was that the third period? When did that happen?
When you got mad and threw your gloves all over the place and gave yourself a penalty?
I threw my stick. I just wanted to see how far it would bounce off the mats.
I just love that he did it and then just immediately started walking to the penalty box. Like, I don't think anybody was going to call it, but I'm calling it on myself.
I deserved it. I mean, there's definitely been seasons in the past where I've gotten out of hand.
I think you just walked to the bench. Like, you didn't even. No one called the penalty on you. You just were like.
I don't think you picked up your stick either, did you? You just kind of left.
It bounced back to my hands, actually. I'm going to try that in a game.
It's going to be your shot. Just throw it at the goalie.
No, there was some confusion about the whistles and all of that. And granted, as a ref and probably, one of the greener refs without a hockey pedigree like some of you guys, it's tough. It's tough to get the timing down. Sometimes you're not sure what you're seeing, and you want to double check it. And
I was wrong.
No, but I guess what I'm getting at is that there is a basic rule that I think some guys don't get, is that the only time we we don't blow the whistle on a freeze is if it's a goalie freeze.
Correct.
Everything else requires a whistle.
To start play.
Yeah, and we usually wait till the guys are backed outside of the 3-point arc before we blow that whistle. So you might be ready to go and ready to shoot.
And that's what it was. Like being down, I was already frustrated.
You were down. There was like less than a minute left in the
and
period.
I'm like, hurry the fuck up. And
Yeah. So that being said, if you are on the defensive team, get the hell out of the 3-point arc so they can play.
Yeah.
You know, don't dilly dally.
Moving, but that's a preseason. That's your looks at each one of the team. Time will tell exactly how good everyone is, or how bad everyone is. Hopefully, not a lot of bad. I'd like to see a lot of competition. But as always, we finish up. Oh, we have 3 stars.
of the
Oh,
week.
we got 3 stars of the
and
week
the play of the week.
and the play of the week. All right, show them both.
All right, so 3 stars of the week. We got Mike Bryant. I'm gonna go Austin, and I'm gonna go Sweetmeat. I mean, on the Foot Clan, there was a lot of contenders there, but I feel like because it was spread so evenly and the game was kind of a shit show, that I'm gonna skip off of those guys on this time. But those are my 3 stars of the week. Play of the week. There's a video of it. It's the funniest video I've ever seen in my life. Bill Rylick laying on the ground and a puck going wide past the net, and he just sticks his glove up like this. And it was the best thing I've ever seen.
Well, he blocked 3 or 4 shots laying on the ground, and then Newberry went in and managed to get one up on the roof. And
For those that weren't there, it's not as if he stopped the puck and then laid down to then cover the puck. He just literally got tired and was laying horizontal across the
I think he had the spins. I think he was
and
just
had his arm up like the Statue of Liberty.
It was it was beautiful. If there's a way to post the video, I'm gonna try to figure it out. But I also don't want to get in trouble with the lie. So
Enright was not a fan.
no, I was definitely not a fan of that.
So that's huge. Any other plays of the week?
I think we got to give one to Kevin Baldwin. He wasn't there for it because we think he was unconscious, but he met Jared Bear's shoulder pretty hard, and he was down. I don't think in a boxing match it would have been a TKO.
Yeah.
So,
but he's all right.
He's all right.
We did the concussion protocol. So
yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of leads to one of the other rules that if we do stop play because of an injured player, we just need to make sure that it's kind of like the NFL. If the player, you're stopping play because the player's injured, they have to come out until the next whistle.
Mm-hmm.
So if you try to get a quick whistle, or you try to do something, but just make sure that, we want the player that's injured to step off the court just so that they can have a second to make sure that they're okay and not just doing I'm fine, and they're not necessarily quite all there.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So let's get into the question. Our theme is movie monsters this year, so I kind of went a little route of movie monsters, or just horror films.
Horror films?
Horror films?
Horror.
A horror.
Horror. Sorry, I have a.
Horror films. Those I love those.
Exactly. So going with the spooky theme this year,
Spooky.
you and 2 fellow floor hockey players are in a horror movie, and you need to survive. So it's kind of similar to one we did this last year. However, but I want to know what the movie is. It doesn't have to be one of the team names this year. So what is the movie, and who are the other 2? It can't be on your team, and why do you pick them?
Can or can't be on their team?
Can't be on your team. So it's got to be some new players. And I haven't thought about this either. So I'm just going to look, and I'm going to pick some quick guys. I'm going to go Gianni. I think Gianni would be a good pick. The movie I'm going with is actually The Birds. Have you guys seen this movie?
Yeah, it's the scariest movie I've ever seen in my
It's
life.
so intense. It is. My mom's had me sit down and watch this freaking movie when I was younger, and I was just like, what? I don't understand what's going on. It's just a bunch of birds attacking, and then one rips its eyeball out. I think that's a movie that I could survive. There's not a lot of horror films I can survive. I think I can survive birds. I'll have some cuts and some scrapes, but
And poop on me.
yeah, they poop on me, but I poop on myself all the time. So I'm gonna go with Gianni because he's a little taller than me, and he might get hit, and maybe he can hug me. And then the other guy I was going with was Shane Humphrey because I feel like I could he could just spin around and just knock the crap out of birds. So those were my 2 picks of how to survive the birds. But yeah, I think we would survive that one.
All right. I'm probably gonna go. I Know What You Did Last Summer
Ooh, good movie.
because it's a guy with a fucking hook. Like, I'll beat the life out of a guy with a hook. But the people I'm taking with me, because it's kind of like a campy, like teen comedy movie, and a lot of guys don't know Ben yet, but I've known Ben for a while, and he's fucking
Oh
hilarious.
my god, he's amazing.
He's one of the funniest guys
Should have picked him.
after me that I know.
Can't wait to have him.
And like outside that, I'm probably gonna go Amanda Etzel with Ben Capel, like two rookies, just because it can't be a sausage fest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a horror movie. You have to have a female presence there, and like I said, I mean, it's gonna turn into an action movie where we're beating the shit out of this guy with a hook.
Yeah. Nice. Now, Kurt.
Well, I got a little curveball here because I just can't pick a guy on my team. But I mean, honestly, I would pick probably Gianni and Amanda because we all know the black guy and the girl always die first in these horror movies.
Yeah, but you gotta survive.
Yeah, so we're gonna survive.
Survive.
Oh, all three of us have
All
to survive?
three of
Because
you
I was
have to
gonna pick just any of the two goalies in my Friday the 13th movie, and if they're wearing hockey masks, I'm gonna totally escape in the confusion that ensues when Jason comes out in his mask and they don't know who's who, and I'll just run away. And I figured odds are 2 or 3, one of them will make it. Anyway, I don't know. That's the best I got right now.
Great point.
I mean, any of these guys can't swim. I thought it was who had to die first before me.
It's all of you have to survive.
Oh my gosh, it's like the whole thing with a bear. Like, how do you escape a bear? You just have a buddy who runs slower. You know?
Alright, good point. Let's go over to Alex.
I'm gonna go with the movie's gonna be The Exorcist. And I'm gonna have to go with Ben and
Paul
Paradigm.
Oh yeah, good answer.
We need an old priest and a young priest. So I'll take one of the rookies who's got the voice. I want to hear Ben perform an exorcism. I think that would be the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life because he has got the pipes of an angel and just screaming at this little girl's face to get that demon out of there. Yeah, let's go, get that demon out. But then you need Paul, who's a seasoned veteran, will be the more calm one. He knows what he's doing, kind of.
But he will look for the assist on the exorcism.
Good point. Really nice. Fern Gully. Are you going Fern Gully?
Yeah, whatever. So I don't know if it's a scary movie, but I'm gonna go Batman vs Superman. Well, wait, I probably can't. It has to be one of the Batmans. There's a Joker because of the clowns right now.
All right.
So Jeremy's gonna be my Joker, and he's just gonna laugh the guy that's trying to kill everybody to death. It's gonna go off on my friend. And of course, he has to be paired with a good-looking guy that can turn into Batman and be like, I'm Batman, and that's Joe.
Okay, perfect.
So I was saying
Joe
Batman
Gant's more of a Superman.
I know, that's why I was saying Batman.
I mean, it was a horror movie with clowns, or killer clowns. From
Yeah, but I
outer
couldn't
space.
think of one, and
Yeah,
you were
or-
sitting here and you're funny, so that's why I was going.
Or what was that American horror story? They had a clown in it.
Yeah, there's a TV show.
Horror.
Yeah.
All right, well, good answers. So that's it for this week. We've got an exciting season ahead of us. Truly cap off.
Truly crappy.
Another year of great hockey. 2016 has been great so far. Looking forward to it, finishing up hockey down in Monroe. You've been listening to Circle Jerks, brought to you by Books. Thank you, Books, sponsoring us all season long. From PDR, Jer Bear, Cannonball, Del Packard, and Fern Gully, thank you guys so much for listening, and ladies. And tune in Monday for your Week 1 Circle of Jerk picks. Do you have something to say?
Yeah, because it's
June
the preseason, this podcast doesn't count.
Is it Wednesday yet?